The TV series The Crown welcomed its final season last year. In the opening of this season, jarring sounds of brakes and impacts transport the audience back 26 years to that summer midnight when Princess Diana tragically passed away. What kind of life did Princess Diana lead after her divorce, ultimately leading to the tragic end of her life? Today, let's review the last 2 years of Princess Diana's life. On a day in September 1995, Princess Diana accompanied her close friend to the Royal Brompton Hospital in London to visit her friend's husband who had just undergone heart bypass surgery. While at the hospital, Diana encountered a cardiothoracic surgeon who was tending to patients. The doctor was completely focused on his duties and didn't pay much attention to Diana, who was nearby. After the doctor left, Diana couldn't help but remark to her friend that he seemed rather charming. At that moment, Diana even remembered the name imprinted on the doctor's shoes, Hasnat Khan. Over the next 2 weeks, Diana visited the hospital every day, hoping to encounter Hasnat. Finally, one day in the elevator, she seized the opportunity to meet him privately, and they formally introduced themselves. Hasnat was a straightforward person, not particularly adept at arranging romantic dates. The first time he mustered the courage to ask Diana out, he simply said, "Would you like to accompany me to visit my aunt and uncle?" Diana didn't hesitate and agreed. From that moment on, they established a romantic relationship. Hasnat hailed from a middle-class family in Pakistan and worked as a surgical doctor, often putting in over 90 hours a week. Therefore, Diana was always accommodating to his busy schedule. Their dates either took place at the hospital or Hasnat's bachelor apartment. Occasionally, Diana would arrange for Hasnat to be discreetly brought into her residence at Kensington Palace by her staff. They would meet at Kensington Palace, indulging in Hasnat's favorite fried chicken. Diana disliked the smell of smoke but tolerated Hasnat smoking in the palace. Hasnat was extremely discreet, and for a long time, despite paparazzi focusing on Diana at the hospital and speculating about her involvement with a doctor, they couldn't find much evidence. Diana even learned to feed the paparazzi some true and false information to throw them off track. Once, the two even clandestinely visited a pub without being discovered. In Diana's eyes, Hasnat was mature, stable, and warm, worthy of her complete trust. After enduring betrayal and deception from previous partners, these qualities were as precious as gold to her. On July 15, 1996, Diana and Charles officially divorced. That evening, Diana attended a charity gala wearing a traditional Pakistani shalwar kameez. After that day, she confided to her friends that she was seriously considering marrying Hasnat. Diana knew that Hasnat's parents, who were in Pakistan, were very traditional, but she was confident she could win them over. After all, she was the most beautiful princess in the world. In the first half of 1997, Diana visited Hasnat's hometown in Pakistan twice under the guise of work, to meet his grandmother and parents. Unfortunately, these two encounters did not further their relationship but instead made Diana realize the extent of the obstacles if they were to move towards marriage. Hasnat's parents made it clear that they hoped their son would marry a Muslim girl from a similar middle-class background in Pakistan. In The Crown, the portrayal of Diana's relationship with Hasnat appears brief, whereas in reality, their relationship lasted nearly 2 years, until that summer when Diana passed away. However, in the final stages, their clandestine affair felt like a taut string about to snap. Diana hoped Hasnat would spend more time with her and even introduced him to globally renowned cardiothoracic surgeons, hoping to secure him a less demanding work environment. However, Hasnat had no interest in this. He preferred to work diligently and refused to bask in the limelight of Princess Diana. Additionally, Hasnat was unwilling to publicly acknowledge their relationship. He couldn't fathom how he would continue working under the relentless pursuit of the media. If taking that step was challenging, marriage seemed even more distant. Combined with opposition from Hasnat's parents, after nearly 2 years of dating, a somewhat weary Diana decided to take a summer vacation away from the UK. Diana had a somewhat distant acquaintance, the Egyptian businessman Mohammed Al-Fayed. Mohammed Al-Fayed was wealthy and enjoyed mingling with the upper echelons of society, fitting the stereotype of what the British would call a social climber. In July 1997, he invited Diana and her 2 sons to vacation in Saint-Tropez, France. Mohammed Al-Fayed claimed to have a luxurious yacht there, where they could escape the pesky paparazzi and indulge in sunshine and water sports in the Mediterranean. To make the children happy and perhaps herself as well, Princess Diana agreed. This type of vacation was something she couldn't experience while with Hasnat. Mohammed Al-Fayed's son, Dodi, also joined Diana and her 2 sons on the yacht, accompanying them throughout the trip. This was a carefully orchestrated plan by Al-Fayed, who disapproved of Dodi's then-fiancée, a model named Kelly. Dodi had recently proposed to Kelly and bought a house in California for their future together. However, Al-Fayed hoped his son would break off the engagement and pursue the British princess, who was 3 years his junior. In The Crown, Kelly, waiting nearby on another yacht belonging to the Al-Fayed family, hoping for her fiancé's return, is indeed based on reality. However, in real life, Princess Diana was unaware of Kelly's existence. Upon her return to London, Diana received flowers from Dodi, which adorned every room in Kensington Palace. Additionally, there were designer watches and tropical fruits, Diana's favorite. Dodi was experienced in pursuing women. As a film producer, he had long frequented Hollywood and been linked to several famous actresses, such as Julia Roberts. 20 years ago, he half-jokingly remarked to a friend that he wondered which celebrity he needed to date to make the cover of magazines. On the other hand, according to later recollections by Hasnat, upon returning from the vacation, Diana met with him and proposed breaking up. A columnist once remarked that as understated as Hasnat was, Dodi was equally flamboyant. Where Hasnat was practical, Dodi was extravagant. While Hasnat carried heavy burdens, Dodi lived carefree. They represented 2 extremes of masculinity. Diana's oscillation between these 2 men might have been a rebound after 2 years of suppression. During her time with Hasnat, not a single photo of them together was captured. However, in early August 1997, when she stepped onto Dodi's yacht once again, a photographer managed to capture a kiss between Diana and Dodi using a telephoto lens. This photo was sold by the photographer for a staggering $1 million and was prominently featured on the front page of the Daily Mirror on August 10, confirming Diana's high-profile new romance. After her divorce, Princess Diana's relationship with the wealthy playboy became the hottest news of that summer. Throughout August, Prince William and Prince Harry were vacationing in Scotland with the royal family. Therefore, with plenty of free time at the end of August, Diana and Dodi went to France for the 3rd time. This time, their relationship became known worldwide, attracting a swarm of paparazzi. Dodi's bodyguards, seeing the situation, hoped their boss would agree to bring in more people, but Dodi declined. On August 31st, they returned to Paris from their holiday destination, intending to spend one night in the city before returning to London the next day. The Paris Ritz Hotel where they stayed was also owned by the Fayed family. Dinner was scheduled for 10 o'clock, and originally, they planned to dine at a high-end restaurant. However, due to the overwhelming presence of paparazzi outside the hotel, they decided to dine in the hotel instead. At midnight, Dodi suddenly suggested they not spend the night at the hotel but go to his luxurious apartment instead. The driver was not aware of this arrangement beforehand and had already consumed a considerable amount of alcohol, but Dodi paid no heed. The group of 4, Dodi, Diana, the driver, and the bodyguard, slipped out of the Ritz Hotel through a side door and got into the black Mercedes-Benz that would later be involved in the accident. Dodi and Diana were probably intoxicated as well, and they may not have even fastened their seatbelts. Only the bodyguard wore a seatbelt and he was the sole survivor of the accident. After the accident, Al-Fayed was nearly shattered. He transformed from an admirer of the British royal family to an attacker, making many baseless allegations and accusations. For instance, he claimed Diana was pregnant with Dodi's child and they were about to get engaged, but these were all unfounded rumors. Until he died in 2023, Al-Fayed persisted in his belief that the car accident was orchestrated by the British royal family and intelligence agencies, yet no evidence has been found to support this claim over the decades. Al-Fayed once owned London's famous department store, Harrods. In the basement of the store, he arranged a corner resembling a shrine for his son and Princess Diana. Their photographs and the alleged engagement ring, which Diana never wore, were displayed there for many years, serving as a place for people to come and pay their respects. After life froze in its final moment, Diana seemed unable to shake off her connection with Dodi, even if it might have been a brief fling originally intended to heal from a previous heartbreak. At Princess Diana's funeral on September 6, 1997, Hasnat appeared, sitting quietly in a corner with sunglasses, almost unnoticed by anyone at the time. Later, his relationship with Diana gradually came to light, and numerous media outlets sought interviews with him, but he remained tight-lipped. People learned about their past through Diana's friends, staff, and other sources, but couldn't glean much from Hasnat himself. He proved himself to be the dependable person Diana had known him to be during her lifetime. Yet, whether it was the low-key reliability of Hasnat or the flamboyance of Dodi, neither truly became Diana's man. One was extremely averse to fame and fortune, while the other fervently pursued them. And for Diana, who longed to be loved throughout her life, her Prince Charming never truly arrived.